All right, cool. I think this is all set. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to get started. And typically, what I like to always just kind of say is if anybody jumps in at any point, I'm always recording this. So this will be posted to YouTube later. This is going to be 5-minute designs in Command. And literally, it's a 5-minute design. If you're not familiar with the design tool, there's quite a few different things in there now that you can kind of work with. And this also includes things like print materials, social media graphics, email campaign templates, and then there's also some other bits and pieces in between. So the way that we can get into our design tool, we can click on this red KW here. And we're going to go to where it says designs. So this is our designs applet. And you'll be taken to this new-ish dashboard. I've noticed that they changed a few things. So the dashboard is essentially grouped by different types of templates now. So you'll notice that it will default to email, but then you also have your social, your print, and then your video. So if you notice that you don't have anything in either one of these, it's probably because you haven't created a design yet. So we're going to start. We're going to go ahead and click on my plus button here. And the plus button is going to bring up this card, which is going to allow me to choose from various types of templates. So by default, you're probably going to be working mostly with either the print or social. And there are some other additional features in here, like the ability to upload PDFs. And you can also generate a neighborhood snapshot video. Now, if I wanted to use a listing for any of my collateral, you can also check off this little box here. It says import photos and text from a listing. One question I do get often is if they are selecting a listing, will it auto-populate into the templates? So at this moment, it doesn't. So in that case, you'll see how it's going to work. But at this very moment, it does not auto-populate the images or text into the templates just yet. Hopefully in the future, but we're getting there. So I'm going to go ahead and start with print first. So we're going to go into print. I'm going to select next. And what I'm going to do from here, since I selected that listing button, I'm going to go ahead and just search for a listing. And I typically use this one just because it's always on the top of my head, and we'll use that. And the photos are also really nice, so that also helps. We'll hit select. And it's going to load me into my design template library, basically. So this is your dashboard for your templates now. And you'll notice that it's grouped by different types of templates. So listings, buyers, you got your lead gen ones in here as well. Business basics, so that's great if you're looking for things like letterheads or business card templates. Leadership, don't worry about that one. Professional services, this is going to have just some what they're considering luxury templates. And these are very nice as well. I actually do quite like these templates a lot. So if you prefer to use one of the luxury ones, they are there. There is some also additional luxury templates in here as well. So you have property marketing, you do have some open house ones. You can kind of go through here and see which ones you like. Just be aware that they do have a luxury logo on them. And that can also be removed if you decide you want to use one of these instead of just a regular template. It's typically my suggestion for that, but they do have some very nice ones in here. And then we get down to collections, which will encompass some of the newer designs. And this is super useful if you're looking just to see what they added recently. In this case, it's going to be some of the listing and buyer presentation templates. You also have a coloring book here. So if you're looking for something to do on the weekend, if you want to color with your kids or color yourself, if you're artsy, go ahead and download the House Hunting with Riley. It's pretty cool. New beginnings. So this is a question I get often. if you can generate your own newsletter. So I know some agents who are using the zine. They're getting trendy with their terms here. So they're going to be calling it a zine. And the zine is where you can generate some news content that's going to be populated pretty much automatically into the templates. I'll go over that in a little bit, but just know that that is there. This will be updated every quarter. So right now it's still on Q1. We're getting close to Q2 now, so I'm hoping to see an update on that soon. And you'll have some new news articles to kind of work with. But let's start with some of the more basic stuff. So we'll go into listings here. And you'll notice that we have a drop-down menu with quite a few different templates. And I want to just work on a for sale right now. So let's choose for sale. And under for sale, when you click on it, there's going to be all these templates aggregated. So you can select all, which will show you all the templates available currently. You can also filter it by specific types. So they do have door hangers. We have flyers as well. Standard postcards. You do have some bifolds brochures here, trifold brochures as well, and then some other additional bifolds, vertical and horizontal. Now, with the postcards specifically, the question I also get right now with the templates in here for listings or just sold cards or whatever, they are in a 6'4", 6x4 inches. So they are on the smaller side, and I'm hoping that they add in some additional larger cards. You'll notice that some of them do have ones that are labeled as jumbo, which are, I want to say it's 6x9. I think if we go here, you can see jumbo postcards. Sorry, those are 11x6, and then the large ones are 9x6. So those are like your sizes. And right now they don't have the larger sizes for the listings specific ones, not just yet. But I'm hoping to see those soon because I think those would be a game changer. And also with the print services being added into here soon, I think it's going to be super useful to be able to kind of create one on the fly. So in any case, I'm going to go back into my go into the for sale ones here. Few different templates. Again, I mentioned that they are organized based on the theme. So if you're looking for door hangers, flyers, etc., they're all kind of filtered into here like that. I'm going to use a flyer. In this case, we're going to generate a flyer, and we're going to choose one of these templates here. And if you're following along, you can choose whichever one you like best. You know, it's your day, so you can choose whichever one fits your needs. I'm going to go ahead and choose one here, and I'm going to select, let's go with this one. We'll go with this one here. So it's going to load me into my design editor. And the way that I usually describe the design editor inside of Command, it's very similar to Canva. So they wanted to develop a tool that was very easy for agents to use. And considering that not all agents are graphic designers, having something that they can kind of just go in, drag and drop their materials into it and have something created in like 5 minutes is quite a nice thing to do. So again, with these templates, it's going to be a lot of drag and drop. So it's not like you have to kind of format anything unless you really want to. If you want to make something on your own, you can obviously customize this however you want. But if we're going to be working with just a standard template, which is already put together, a lot of it's going to be just drag and drop assets. So my agent photo here, which is under my assets, I can just kind of drag it in. And it will replace it on the template, as you can see. So the template itself is being kind of updated in real time as I'm doing things. Now, as I'm going through this, you may recall that I connected it with a listing. And the listing is already in here as well. So the listing images, all that good stuff is already downloaded into the template. So now all I need to really do is just choose the photo I want to use. In this case, this one has 3. So I can choose 3 images, and I'm just going to drag and drop these over. And you can see it replaces the image quite quickly. And then I can choose 2 additional ones. I do like this outside one, so I'll use that. And the exterior, I'm not really kind of trying to showcase that first, but I could obviously drag that in too, and I'll just put that right here, just to get an idea what the home looks like from the outside. So we have our images. That's kind of like 50% of the template done already. It's just choosing the images. Then if we go to the tab on the right-hand side here, where it says listing details, that's where I can get some of the listing information. And as I mentioned, it's not going to auto-populate just yet. So I can go in and I can replace this automatically, or not automatically, but I can replace it. And I can just kind of like type over what I need to replace, right? And let me just go back real quick so you can see what I did. So what I did was I clicked on this text box here, and there is an option called typewriter, and game changer in here. If I click on it, I can just basically type in and I can save it and it will replace it here. So it makes it a little bit easier than having to double click and trying to figure out like where I'm clicking on. You know, it is kind of a pain. So if I click here and then I do typewriter, I can essentially go in and just kind of edit whatever I need to edit. Let's just pretend that these are actual features in the home. So I'll leave that, but I can obviously type in and replace those however I want. So now at this point, we're about 70% done, right? We need to still kind of go through and edit a few more things. I forgot to put the address, so I will go in. And one nice thing you'll also notice here is when I clicked on the text, there's a little rotation button, looks like a recycle icon here. So that will actually replace the text on the template. So if I click that button, it replaces the text there. And you notice how it's now replaced with that address for this listing. Makes it a little bit easier if you're just kind of putting something together real quickly. Again, it's not going to work too much with this particular piece because I have to kind of manually change some stuff. But for the addresses or for the verbiage or for even like my information here, it kind of works pretty well. But I'll go in and I'll replace this. And my name isn't Lisa Johnston, so I'm going to go ahead and type my name in there. We'll hit save. And that is now replaced. And then the only other bits that I need to change now is going to be the information about myself. And then I'll put my email in there. It was nice enough to add the KW at the end for me. And then my agent app. So if I wanted to add my app on here, I can also do that. Typically what I would suggest with this, with the app itself, I would probably just delete that link. And what I can also do, I could add a QR code, and that QR code can then lead them back to my app itself. I'll show that in a second, how you can do the QR code. Actually, let's just do that right now real quick. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab. I'm going to go back into Command, and I'm going to go into my settings real quick. And under my settings, if I go where it says connect settings and I go to my marketing profile, at the very bottom, I've added my branded app link. So I can copy and paste that. Additionally, you can go through consumer, site and app settings. We can go to URLs, and then you can also grab it here. Now, this link itself is to my actual app, my branded app. And with Chrome now, if I click on the link, you'll notice on the top, there's like a little, looks like a target. And if I click on that, it's going to create a QR code for that particular URL. And the URL is now generated for, the QR code is now generated for my app link. And I can just download that as an image. Now I can come back into my template and I can then say, I want to add that image into my template. So if somebody's looking at my flyer and they scan the QR code, they're just taken directly to my app, right? Well, I can just pop that in. I'll go to where it says images. I'll go to add, and then I will drag that in. And then the QR code will be generated. And I'll go ahead and just click on this. There's little anchor points on the sides of this square. So I'm just going to pull them in. and it's going to make my QR code smaller. And what I'll do is just kind of fit it right here because, you know, I have all that space. Why not? And I'm just going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. So here, I'm going to make it just a slight bit smaller just to make it a little bit more. I might even make it the same size as my headshot. Be a little bit more consistent. All right, and we'll just kind of level that out. There we go, boom. And there we go. So now we have a QR code there. So if somebody scans it, they'll be taken directly to my app link. And if you are viewing this, you can go ahead and scan it if you want to test it out. It's all good. Otherwise, the only other bits that we see here that needs to be replaced is my DBA logo. And I will go into my logos and I will just pop that logo in. There we go. And I'm gonna move out those anchor points a little bit. There we go. So we have a design essentially completed here. And you'll notice if I scroll out a little bit, looks pretty good. Don't mind these blue boxes here. Those aren't going to be on the final design. This is just a glitch. But those are not going to be on my design. So what I can do now is I can actually download this. And you can download it in a few different options. So JPEG is probably going to be the most common if you're going to be posting this to like your Facebook, or you're going to be sending it in an email, or if you're just going to be sending it to somebody in a text message, or whatever you wind up doing with that. JPEG is going to be the most common. Now there is another option here, and I would say with PNGs, you don't really have to technically worry about these too much, unless you're working with like a transparency, in which case I would probably suggest using just the PNG version. And then we also have a PDF version. So the PDF in this case is going to be more ideal for printing. And I could actually print this out as a high-res print flyer. Alternatively, if you're working with a printer, they do have the ability to turn on some of these bleeds. And the bleeds are essentially there to help with the printing process. If you've ever worked with any printer, they'll probably ask you to make sure that there's a bleed on there. And the bleed just makes sure that when they're cutting it, it's going to have the edges not cut into your design. So you want to make sure you have like safe space and all that stuff. But if you're working just on a flyer and you're just trying to get something out there quickly, you're not going to worry about the bleeds too much. So JPEG, again, good for your downloading for, you know, the web. PDF, it's good for print. Okay, so this is my design. And if I save it, that's going to be living inside of my design dashboard. So if I hit done, that design now is going to live here. It's going to say social. Sorry, it's going to be under print rather. Sorry. This is the flyer. That's the one that we just created. We can actually click on it. And if I ever need to edit that, I can come back into here and I can edit it. So let's say, as an example, this home is now sold. We can just say typewriter. We'll just do here, just sold. And that will replace the text on my template. And we're just going to make that lowercase. Just sold. Boom. There we go. Fits in there perfectly. I might actually move that over just a bit. Looks like it's not centered there. There we go. And that's it. So we have the template here. I can go back and edit it at any point. Alternatively, I can also undo any changes I've made. So in this case, I wanted to change it back. There we go. And we can just save that again. It does auto save, but if you're just trying to get it, just to be sure, you can always do that. Now, if you want to see what this looks like, you can also do where it says share, and you can share the actual design. And I'm going to open it in a new tab just so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it will actually wind up looking like. It's quite high res, as you can see. Very good. Again, there's my QR code there that we used. All the stuff here looks very good, very clean. Now, the same way that I generated this nice flyer, you can actually use this as a way to generate social graphics. And With the social graphics, it's a little bit easier in my opinion, because you're not working with any of the main bits of text. So the social graphics are a little bit more straightforward in a sense that you're not really putting any text on them. And they're being formatted specifically for social media, so it's a lot more minimal. So I'm going to go into the same listing again. We'll just use that as an example. We're going to click on this. We're going to select the Green Street listing again. And we're going to load into my social templates. Now, under social templates, you'll notice that these ones here, for sale, it's separated by a few different options. You have social wide, you have social square, and then you also have social stories. And then they do give you a nice little kind of description of what they're typically used for. So social square, as an example, social square will be used for Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn with a 1080 by 1080 pixels, 1-to-1 aspect ratio. So that's basically saying it's a square. And this is the pixel, so it's pretty high res. I mean, for a social graphic, it's pretty high res. And then your squares are going to be more typical to Twitter, Facebook ads, and LinkedIn ads. Now, I typically use the social square either way, but it's totally up to you how you decide you want to showcase something. So let's say, for example, you want to create a just sold, right? We're going to do listings again. And then under where it says just sold, we're going to select here the social square, or, if you're using any of the other ones, you can select one of those as well. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and select just listed, or let's use the just sold. Sorry, we'll use the just sold here. So here we go. We're going to go in and we're going to select from KWS the images. And you'll notice that the template is very, very minimal. There's not any text really on it. So that makes it a little bit easier for me to kind of put it together real quick. And this will legit be the 5-minute design. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use that interior shot again. I quite like it a lot. Sold in 14 days. Sounds about right. Listed at, we'll just put in a price if we want. You don't even have to. If you want to just delete it, you can go ahead and delete it. Maybe you don't want people to know that. Maybe you want them to contact you for that info. So we can just say just sold, but I'm actually going to undo this real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the address here. So instead of just having it listed out, I'll just put 76 Green Street. There we go. We'll hit save. And then it's just going to edit that on my template. So that looks good. In this case, I might have to just pop that image in again. There we go. Cool. Now, the only other thing I would need to do now is replace the logo. And the logo, I'm just going to pop in as well. There we go. And that's my graphic. So the graphic is now done. Now, there's one really nice feature about Command that will make your life a little bit easier. So in addition to being able to download this, I can actually create a post to my Facebook from Command without having to download this and upload it again. So if I hit done, and we went into my campaigns real quick, and I just want to show this because I think it's really cool that they did this. So if I go to social posts, we're just going to use that as an example. We're going to do April. We're going to just select default account, whatever. What are they doing here? This is kind of annoying. Hold on one sec. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to switch that to my personal. There we go. So it looks like they made some team changes, which is pretty nice. We're going to go ahead and just click this again once more. And you'll notice that under where it says Browse Design Library, I can actually choose the template we just created. And this is already formatted into a square, as you recall. So that square is what's going to be populated into that preview in just a second once it loads. It's telling me it's not done yet. Let's see if I have another one here. I think I do. So I'm just going to let that load, and then I will, okay, maybe not. Okay, I'll come back to that in a little bit, but I just wanted to just show you how that worked with the social templates, but it's all good. We'll come back to that. Now, the one last thing I did want to show, and this was something, as I mentioned before, there are something in here called zines. So the zine is basically a kind of like an interactive newsletter, if you want to call it that. And they were introduced into Command over the winter, basically as a way for agents to have content that they can share to their customers, whether it be through a email or if they're going to have it printed and actually sent out. They have these under where it says lead generation. And under where it says lead gen, there's personally branded zine. And we're going to click on this. And once this loads up, you're going to notice that I have almost like a booklet. And this is the front page. You know, I can put the front page in there. Now, editing it is very much the same as what I was doing before. So I can click on here. We can click on my typewriter tool. I can put my name in there. And what I can also do is add my office if I wanted to, you know, whatever it wound up being. There we go. DBA logo again. I have my logos installed, so I can just kind of drag it in. There we go. So that would be my page one. Now under templates, there's quite a few other pages. You know, I can add a note from the agent, which again, I can kind of go in here and I can edit this little letter here, which is pretty nice. In addition, there's also some years in review stats. I can pop that in. And this can be more specific to our market centers. So if you wanted to add in some of the information about the market center in there, you can do that. Now, once you start getting into the pages here that say like real estate resolutions, these are all auto-generated. So I don't have to actually change anything. I can't actually. These are all preset. I can change the colors if I'd like, but we're going to leave it. And then I can kind of just put together this nice little booklet. And you notice how I'm doing it is I'm just kind of clicking this little add page button. And we're putting together a little booklet. And I can do this again, you know, feature listings you can add. Then we have home projects we can tackle. I'm just kind of going through and just adding these pages in. There we go. And then, you know, there's some other additional pages as well. So you see here, I can basically put together a magazine, and the magazine content is going to be generated. I don't have to type up anything. It's already here for me. You know, there's other pages in here that I can also add in, which can be edited to my information as well. But in any case, this information that's being added, this is already generated for me. You know, if I save this, and we took a look at the project now. Once this loads up, we'll go to the project link. We'll open this up. I just want to show you what the actual project currently looks like. And if I'm sending this to a customer as a PDF, the PDF they can actually scroll through on their phone, because on the phone you can kind of go through the pages here, and you see if I was on a touch screen, I can kind of swipe through. And they can read their zine, you know, just like she's doing. She's on her computer reading her zine right now. Okay, so this is really nice. Again, this is going to be something updated every quarter. So we're still in the quarter one, which has some of the like winter into springtime stuff. But I can see with quarter two being some summer going into maybe fall, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But super cool. I like that they added that. Again, it's not going to be like your typical newsletter content like I know a lot of agents were looking for, but I think as something to have just to be able to send to your customer, pretty cool stuff. The last thing I just want to go into real quickly, we're going to go back into print again. Now, I know another thing that I get questions around is the presentations. So there are presentations in here as well. Those will also be found under either listing or buyer. So like in the case of a buyer presentation, we do have a buyer presentation one here, which will have quite a few templates that you can choose from. And building this out is going to be very similar to building out a zine as we went through. So here we can add in my first page, which is Guide to Home Ownership. And I can just kind of edit this to have my name on it. So basically I'm going to pop my name in there. We'll go ahead and save that. Again, the logos here, I'm going to just kind of pop out. We don't need that logo. Let's delete that. And then I'm going to go into my logos again. We're going to just pop this over here. And then, I have my first page done. And then I would go into the buyer consults. These are the instructions, which I don't need. Table of contents, sound decision. These are some additional materials that I can kind of work with. And these are also auto-populated. So again, there's going to be a lot of pages in here that I can just kind of pop in and not have to edit. You'll notice if I scroll in a little bit, it has some of the verbiage already on there, which is great. Building your home preferences, so your profile. It's a checklist that you can hand out to your customer. And then, I can, as I'm continuing to build this out, you'll see here that a lot of, as I said, a lot of these pages already have the content already in there for you, which is great. And then the same thing can be done where I can download this. I can download it as a PDF, which would be the high resolution copy. Pop it into my printer, whatever I want to do. Have it printed out. I can put it into a nice little binder. And alternatively, I can share this as a project link, and they can view it on a TV. If you're going to be presenting it in somebody's home, probably easier to present this on a TV where you can actually use the link there. Or you can just download the PDF and open the PDF up too. That would also work. So I just wanted to really go over that real quickly, how that works, and we'll hit done. Now, I didn't have a chance to go over what some of these other options are here. Because when you're working with templates, a lot of the times you don't really have to mess around with this stuff. But in the case that you want to know what it is. So on the top here, there's going to be a handful of options available. And these are just some ways that you can customize your templates a little bit more. You can actually draw in squares, different shapes. They do have other shapes here as well. You also have frames. So in the case that you want to drop in a frame and you want to add in an image, you can use that as well. This one's kind of interesting. I wonder what that one would do. Text boxes. Again, if I want to add in any text boxes in, I can kind of drop those in and those will be added. And again, these are just going to be some additional customization options. Now, if I click on the text box again, you'll see that there's additional customization here as well. But when you're working with a template and you're trying to put something together quickly, you typically don't really have to play around with these too much because it's already formatted for you, which is great. All right, I'm going to hit done here. And I think that's basically what I wanted to cover. I just want to check in the chat. I saw there was something in here. Oh, okay, all good. So if there's any other questions, you can let me know. I can go over that before I close out. Otherwise, the last bit that I always like to kind of go over is the YouTube channel, which is Bergen County Partners here. And if you haven't already subscribed, you can go ahead and give that a subscribe. Looks like we do have a new subscriber, which is great. But again, if you are looking just to find any of our live streams, any of the videos that we've posted on Facebook, you can find them here. Additionally, any sort of the special classes as well will also be posted here. In this class in particular that we just did, I'll have this up probably a little bit later today, and you can rewatch it if you want. But if there's no other questions or there's nothing else you need me to go over, I'm going to go ahead and close out. And it's super nice out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Take care.